Can you hear me now?
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. We back on it, y'all. Ain't nobody come in the chat yet, but you know what that means. Excuse me.
There's about 2 or 3 lives going on right now.
Yeah. Welcome in, Happy Matt. K Renee, how you doing? Yeah, this is gonna be the OG chat tonight. Mr. Bammitt, let's send him our prayers because he should be on the road coming back home now from the Texas kickback. So he might be listening, but I don't think he'll be in with us tonight.
Yeah. All right, thanks, K Renee. I appreciate that. Oh, let me
Thank you,
put that on
Kay.
my
Thank
phone.
you.
Hey, Happy Mac, I need you to send me your address. I've been sitting on something I've been meaning to send to you, but you never sent me your address. So hit
Happy
me up at Miss Shirley OG Gardner at gmail.com.
Happy Mac don't want nothing unless it's honey.
Well, I ain't got
If
nothing to do with
if
that.
it ain't honey, she don't want it. Hello, crawfish. Oh, you wish your tummy was full of crawfish. Hey.
I've never ever really eaten crawfish. I've seen it, but I never ate it. I don't know. When I looked at it, it just wasn't appetizing to me, so I
You
didn't
ever
mess with it.
you ever had lobster before?
Oh yeah.
That's the same thing. It's just a miniature version. It's a
Okay. All
it's a
right.
miniature version.
All right.
I'm sorry, Miss Shirley. I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, I
Deborah Garrett,
appreciate
how
it.
you doing?
Hey Deborah, how are you? Okay, so yeah, I love all kinds of they call them crustaceans. I
Yeah.
eat lobster, I eat shrimp, I eat scampies, clams, oysters, mussels. I eat them all. I love them. I love seafood.
A few years, well, it's been about 10 years now. I got my family to start eating squid and octopus and all that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah. What
They
they
wouldn't
call a
touch
calamari. Yeah,
that.
I've had that too.
Yeah.
I've
Hey,
had
Laura
some that was
Garden, how you doing?
out and some that was like chewing leather.
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't know how to cook it. Hey, Laura's Garden, how are you?
Happy Max said you're sort of right about that honey. Yeah,
What the honey, huh?
yeah. Squid is delicious too.
It is.
I,
I've had it.
I liked it when it was fried hard or put it in a boil. But then I went and got some in a sardine can. I like those in the sardine can as well.
I haven't tried those. Not in a sardine can.
I used to
Yeah, I
see
do like.
people. I was kind of raised in a Hispanic neighborhood too in New York,
Okay.
and I used to see them Hispanics eating that stuff all the time, straight out the can, and I was like, "Oh, y'all nasty." I guess I'm nasty.
Well, I got into it when I went to L.A. My cousin is in L.A. and he took me to this fancy Japanese restaurant. And they
Mhm.
had all of that in there, and it was cooked to perfection. And I was like, oh, I could sit here and eat myself into a coma on the seafood thing. They knew what they was doing.
Yeah, that's it, King Oscar. That's it.
Oh, Happy Max, how you throwing me under the bus?
And, hey, you know she was trying to win everybody else, honey.
Oh
Some
yeah, yeah,
somebody don't want the honey, but she said, "I want it. I want it."
yeah. I had to commandeer my granddaughter. She came over here and she said, "Oh, Graham, this is a big jar." I said, "Right, it's my big jar." I'll give you a little bit. She was trying to help build the baby's immunity up because we found out that first she was allergic to peanut butter. We didn't know that. But then since she'd been giving it to her in small dosages, she's not allergic to peanut butter anymore. And I told her with all the allergies her mama got, I was like, give her a teaspoon of honey and let it build her system up.
Not
So,
a teaspoon. How old is she?
oh, she's 2.
Oh, okay. Teaspoon is good then. I thought she was
Yeah.
under 1 years old, you're not supposed to give it to them.
Oh, no, 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 no. I know better than that. Come on,
I'm
man.
just saying
Uh,
that I keep meaning to put that on my honey bottles and stuff, but every time
yeah.
I go make labels, that's a label I don't make.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, people, this is the OG night, and as Mr. Bammitt say, we talk about anything we want to, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Mhm.
But my topic tonight is, and I'll tell you why. They don't have trades. They don't have trade school, trade classes in school anymore. The wood shop, mechanic, and electrical shop, and all. They don't have that stuff in schools anymore. And uh, whether y'all know or not, my AC went out this week. So I had a few people come in and check out my AC, and I got curious about something. I've been watching AC YouTube this whole week, and then I went out and I start looking and stuff, and they're building a bridge in Vidalia, Georgia, and I pulled over and just was observing the scene, and out of all the people I see, I didn't see nobody black.
Yeah.
I know
Hey,
black
Slondy.
I know black people can build a bridge too. I know we know
Yeah.
how to lay concrete. I know we know how to put the steel rods in. I know we had to do all this stuff. But the thing that shocked me was you had a whole bunch of white guys doing the bridge and all this stuff. And you had Mexicans on the lower part doing minor concrete and all that stuff. And I'm saying, dog, ain't no black people know how to do concrete. And there's another preacher I know. He does concrete. He put in sewers and all that stuff. But I'm saying, no, where the other men at? And then when I was looking at this and I was thinking back, my mind shot back to when we had the storm last year in November when we had Helena come through.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
And I'm just thinking, over at the supermarket, they had all the utility trucks and everything for the electric company. And I'm just looking. I don't see nobody of color.
Yeah.
I don't. I saw some old white guys. I saw some young white guy, but I didn't see nobody with a tan. I said, "Man, what is going on?"
And see here, we're known for the orange barrels come spring on doing road repair. And
Mm-hmm.
like when you're on the freeways and highways and you're going past all these sites, you don't see anybody of color, at
Right.
least not ours. you
Well,
know, and I'm like you. I know a lot of these guys who have this trade and
more
they're
about
good
that.
at it. So I'm talking, like I know a lot of them how they bid on certain contracts, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how do they get outbidded? It seemed like every time where you don't see,
Right.
you know, of different color. And
I,
now
I,
they just finally putting women out there. You didn't see women at all either.
well, that's another thing. I saw more women than I saw black people.
Wow.
I haven't seen any black guys out there, but I did see women out there.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nikki.
During the storm, it was a white guy in the big truck, but it was a black lady in the little truck coming in front of them, clearing the road and everything.
Mhm.
I didn't see no black guys, and I just rode around. I went to Statesboro. They were doing some work out there. I said, "Nah, where all the black people at?" I went to the VA in Dublin. They were doing some work out there. I'm saying, "No, what is going on?" I understand that a lot of the young people want to play video games and all this stuff, but every last one of them ain't in the house playing video games.
Oh,
And then I'll talk about me. I My mother's boyfriend, he worked on cars. We talking back in the 60s. My mother boyfriend worked on cars. I would go around and watch him all the time when he worked on cars. And then my so-called daddy, my uncle, who was filling in my daddy's slot, he did sheetrock. And he had two jobs. He would do sheetrock in the day, and he would go clean buildings at night. First time I've ever been in an Empire State Building, we were cleaning up. But during the daytime, on the weekends, I was with him doing sheetrock. He would tell me, he said, just beat this nail until it get a little dent in it, and I'll come back and spackle it up and everything. And all of a sudden, I say about after about an hour, I was spackling and laying the tape down and everything. And I wasn't nothing but 7 years old. But it seemed like now, today, we don't have young men. They didn't get any skills, so they really don't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
We got that few that was raised on a farm, so they know how to farm. We got that few that their parents owned a mechanic shop, and that few picked up from what they learned from their
Look at what Happy Mac said. She said that some kids hate school now, and they definitely don't want to go to college, so they drift. They need encouragement to go into the trades and know that they can make good money. Yeah, because
true.
I learned how to drywall. The guy I used to kick it with a long time ago, he did drywall for a living, and he was his own contract. He was self-employed. And when I had my house, there was some rooms that needed a little touch up, and he showed me how to mix it up. He showed me how to. He gave me the right tools. I had to learn how to hold them and how to grate them and slide them and wipe it and often. I can drywall the heck out of a house. I did the bathroom here. I asked the landlady, can I do the bathroom? I took these bad boy all the way down to the studs. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah,
And I
that's
drywall, I taped, I mud, I sanded, I primed, I paint. I laid this bathroom out. And
also welcome in.
when it came to doing the tile, I wasn't sure because I hadn't done it in a while.
It's the
And
same.
I went up to the Orange Apron store and found the top guy in the department. He showed me how to do it. I had 5 gallon buckets. I got me some sponges. He showed me how to wipe it and even when the haze was on it after it dried to go back over it, my bathroom looks fantastic. So I
Yeah.
mean, you got to have somebody who's willing to show you what to do, and then you have to be willing to pay attention and then learn how to do it.
Right, right. Because I done had several talk with my grandson and the other ones. I said, I do want you to go to college,
Yeah,
but I want you to get a trade first. I got what four boys and two girls.
yeah,
And I said, I want y'all to learn. I want each one of y'all to learn something different.
yeah,
Because now, if my oldest grandson he know how to do ACs and stuff, I wouldn't have to worry about calling these folks to come fix my
yeah,
AC. He could do it. And the other one, if he fixing sinks and sewage and whatever, I got somebody can do that. Family helping family is better than have to struggle and find somebody else to get something done. When hey son, I got a flood back here.
Beto
Can
Loco
you
and Cassandra. Hey,
Hi,
Fatima.
Fatima, how you doing? And that's the thing right there is we got to encourage the young men today to get a trade.
Yeah,
I
they
want you to
don't
get
want to go to
college.
college. Yeah,
I want you to get college. I want you to get the education and everything. But the best education is hands-on and doing something that you know that you decide to go be a counselor or uh, education, a teacher or something. But now you can't do that job.
yeah.
But now you know how to fix the air conditioning. You can always fall back on that. You can
Hmm.
always. I tell my son he drive trucks. I said get a side hustle.
Yeah.
I said no matter what, get a side hustle.
Hmm. I
And
learned
that
how to paint. I can paint with a brush. My
Miss
friend showed me how to hold that brush at an
Miss
angle
Sylvia,
and load that brush up, hit it at an angle, and make a perfect line. He said, we ain't got all day to be taping and doing all this, that, and the third. He said, if you do it right, you can load this brush up, hit it at the angle, take it all the way across and down the side and stuff. And when I painted my living room and dining room, they say, "Who painted this?" I said, "I did." And they was like, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yes, I did." I was like, "Why do you think that I can't paint?" And it you gotta want to learn how to do stuff, And I see a lot of these families who want to pass down their trades to the young folks, and they don't want to do them. No, some of them, they want to do IT. They want to sit behind a computer all day and do graphics or something else. And there's nothing wrong with being a plumber or being an electrician.
Right.
That's good money. They don't understand just how much money you can make being a plumber and an electrician. I need one right now. My shower, I went to take a shower today, and I went to turn the handle, and the handle said, "What you doing?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then I was like, "Well, I'll wash up." And then the sink got clogged up. So now I got to wait for them to come tomorrow to unclog the sink
All right,
and
Happy Matt.
do, the knob. I was like,
David.
wow, if I could do it myself, I wouldn't call anybody. I'd go ahead and knock it out.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
we got to encourage these young people. Like Silver just said, her nephew,
Yeah.
yeah,
Her cousin.
her cousin is doing apprenticeship
Yeah.
right now, electrician,
Hey,
and
David.
that's going to be beneficial to the whole family. My son, he was teasing me the other day. He said, "You know what, Daddy? I'm getting ready to win this lottery."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I said, "You can win the lottery." He said, "You gonna sell our house?" I said, "No. Only thing I want you to do is buy me 150 acres, and I'll take it from there." He said, "Dad, now, that's a whole bunch of waste of money." I said, "No, son, it's not a waste of bunch of money. It's in my name. It's not a bunch of waste of money due to my status. Due to
Yeah.
my status, it won't be nothing." And the way I set it up, you can live there. Your children can live there. Everybody that's came through my system can live on that property.
Hey, Sylvia. Yeah.
Everybody can help one another. Everybody got knowledge to fix something. One of the things that we also missing now is a shade tree mechanic. It's hard to find shade tree mechanics now.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
this
and I miss that boyfriend though. He used to work on airplanes. He was a heck of a mechanic. I had never worried about my car. He said, he could you could put the key in the engine and go crank it up, and he could tell you just from listening to it what's wrong with it. Pop the hood, fix it, and try it again. I was like, wow.
that's a skill. That's a
Yeah,
skill.
yeah,
Right here in this little town I'm in, there used to be several black mechanics and stuff. There's only one now.
yeah,
There's only one. But this this is my whole thing right here too. Not just me saying it, not Miss Shirley saying it, but everybody that of color. You need to encourage your child, your nephew, your cousin, even your sister to encourage her children. We need to take up a trade.
yeah.
This is another situation, but I'm not going to get into this. Can you name something that was created that we did not do first?
True that. Yeah, we invented a lot of stuff.
I'm a military man. The majority of the wars that won were actually won by us, but
Yeah,
somebody else took
the credit for it.
that's it. So we got to encourage these people. I told my son every time my grandchildren come together, I'm gonna tell them something.
Yeah,
I had when I cut down all the trees in the back, I had them. Well, me and my son cut most of the trees, but I had them cut the little branches, pick up the logs, move all this stuff. And when they got tired, I sat down and I told them the purpose of this stuff. And I said, "This is not for me. The Bible says I have to set up a inheritance for my children. So this is for y'all."
mm-hmm.
And I tell them all the time. They talk about the trees and stuff sitting over there on the side of the house. I said, "This is for y'all. Everything I got, I basically, you don't see it right now, but I'm actually setting it up for y'all that when times get worse than they are now, you always have some place to go and something to eat."
Yeah,
And I want to give them that same mindset. You have to learn how to do something. You
Mhm.
don't need a degree to learn how to put nuts and screws together and build something. Just put your mind to it and do it. And hey, that's all it takes. Getting a trade for something.
Yeah.
Learn how to do something.
I like learning new things. I like pushing the envelope, so to speak. I like to see what I can achieve. If I had the strength of a man, I think I'd be doing a lot more, but I know what my limitations are. But like when I started gardening, I built my own raised beds. I went to the stores and got the lumber and cut it and bought me a drill. At that time, that's when Craftsman's was the big thing at Sears and Roebuck. Now when I got
Now
me a drill and some,
you telling your age.
yeah, well, it is what it is. And I got my, nails. I said, I need nails that don't rust because this is going to be outside. They said, you showed me they galvanized and just
Mhm.
the deck screws and all this stuff. And I got out there one day and put some music on and cut my lumber and put my beds where I want them. And I put them together. And I was just like, okay. So I quit. You know how you keep asking folks to help you do things and they don't ever take the time, or they say, I'll help you in a minute, in a minute. When you gardening, I need it now. Your minutes is too long. I was like, I need to get these built so I can get my garden started.
Now you sugar welcome in.
Get their minute in, then they coming in and then they say, oh, who did this for you? And you say, I did it. And they look at you, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. What makes you think I can't do it? It's not that hard. If I'd have known that, I wouldn't have bothered you in the first place. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bayou, I see you back from what's it, crawfish kickback?
Yeah, crop. Yeah. Now it's one of the things I did so much mechanic work. I took an I learned when I was young. When I went to Germany, I was working on Mercedes. Didn't know nothing about a Mercedes. All I know was a nice looking vehicle with a small engine on the inside. That's why I could work on it. They didn't have all that electrical stuff.
Right.
And everybody in the church, if they had a problem, they would say, "Go ask that brother right there." And a lot of them I worked on. I didn't have a problem working on a car. Whenever they, what's the payment? I said, I want me a nice cold glass of iced tea.
Mm.
That was my payment right there. Give me some good iced tea.
Yeah.
And they never had to give me money, but they gave me iced tea.
Yeah.
And then even as a young soldier, and I came back to Fort Stewart, church I was in there, lady had a nice Mercedes, and it was up to date one. I said, Lord have mercy. I don't know what to do about this. I just stopped on her and everything. I talked to her for a few minutes. She said, it just stopped. I said, huh? She said, it just stopped. So I went in. I said, if it just stopped, I went in, cranked it up, or tried to crank it up. Lights came on, no gas.
Oh wow. Yeah. I remember we used to take the screw out the carburetor and take the lid off and pour gas in there to help crank it. I know how to get an old car started.
Yes.
This new stuff, it's got too many electronic things and too many wires for this, that, and the third to get choked up. I used to put on my own fan belt. I knew how to jack my car up on brakes and throw an oil pan up under there and change my oil and change the filter and stuff. These new cars, when you open them up, you look at these Hemis and all this other stuff, you'd be like, oh no, I definitely need a professional for this. But when them old cars, you could keep them running. You knew how to
That's
work.
it.
You
That's
know,
it.
you didn't have to worry about your windows being stuck halfway up because you was cranking them up and cranking them down.
That's it.
you know,
When,
yeah,
when I looked at her car and everything, I said, you're gonna have to pay for this. I said, we're gonna have to call somebody to tow it to the shop
hmm,
because once you ran out of gas, that whole system has to be redid. It
yeah,
has to be siphoned through and everything. It's not just like the old cars where you pour gas in the tank.
right.
You're good. But on the Mercedes, the new electronic
Mhm.
Mercedes and all that stuff, they have to put a machine on it and run the fuel through the whole system. Then you
Mhm.
can put gas back in it.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't do nothing for you, girl. I can't.
yeah. Yeah.
But
And you're right, Sylvia. It's fine. It's hard to find quality anything. It's made to keep a lot of your appliances and what have you. Most of them are not made to last more than 10 years, 15 if you're
yes,
pushing it.
yes,
I got a dryer in the basement right now that I've had since 19, ooh, 1975, and it's still running. Still running. I bought me one of those brushes to go down there and get all that lint out the lint trap. Got a new hose to go on the back. I clean that out every so often, and that bad boy gets hot. It gets hot. It's got a big drum, and it's still running. I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna cry once it stops. Because I know I'm not gonna be able to find another dryer like that. Because most likely right now they probably don't even make parts for it anymore. That's why I had to get rid of my stove. I had my stove over 40 years. And once it stopped, I was gonna get a new part for it to keep it going because I like the way it baked. It warmed up the house when we had snowstorms because it was gas. And they said they don't even make parts for this anymore. So that
yeah,
hurt my feelings. So I was forced to get a new stove. And the one I got now is all right, but it don't bake and cook, the same. So yeah, it's different. The appliances they got out here now don't last for anything, and
right.
they keep upgrading them. Look how they did the coffee makers. They didn't went to the things that you can make your own froth, so you can make your special coffees and milk and all this other stuff. I don't need all of that. I just need water and coffee. All that extra
The
stuff.
old percolator. That's it.
Oh, I take that. I like watching it perk up in the top, when it started getting hot and it started popping up. And that coffee was so strong, it would grow hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was the
You can
good
say
old.
that was real coffee back then.
Yep, yep, yep. This stuff they got now, they got too many options, too many flavors. Back in the day, you didn't have hazelnut and French vanilla and all this other stuff they got out here now, and you could get what they call it soy milk if you don't use regular milk and all. It's it's so many options out here now. It makes it hard for you to figure out what you want. So yeah.
But hmm, it's just as I hate to say it all the time, but it's a fact. It's a money thing.
Oh yeah. Oh
Instead of
yeah.
loving each other, I want your money. I
Yeah.
want your money. I want your money.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I wasn't raised as being the money thing. I know, like
Hmm.
I put it this way: I was poor and didn't know I was poor.
Yeah. We were
We were,
happy.
and we were
We
poor.
were happy.
We were poor, and my children know we were. They didn't know we were poor.
Yeah.
Back in the early days when we used to do the Christmas thing and all that stuff, my son said, "I want me some single roller skates."
Yeah.
I went and looked at them things in the store that was 70 something dollars. I said,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. I went to the thrift store and they had some skates in there. I got them fellas while he was in school. I bleached them and scrubbed them and everything. That boy thought he had brand new roller skates.
Yeah. And that's true, Sylvia. They had coffee with no flavors to it. Yeah, and it's all about the Benjamins. And greed is shameful because I've gone in the supermarket. We went grocery shopping today. My adopted grandson came and got me, and he said, "What you need?" So I said, "I want to get 4 cases of water." So I got them big 32 cases, and he bought them up all these flights of stairs and put them at the top. I got a couple of bags of pot and soil, and I found some black cow at Wally World. I had him put that in the backyard because I got some pots I want to fill, and I got a lot of stuff done today. He helps me out a lot, and he doesn't have to. This child is not my flesh and blood, but he loves me like I'm his grandmother, his real grandmother. And he comes over here every 2 weeks, and he makes sure. He said when he come to get me, he said the same place, and I was like, yeah. So I said I stopped by the garden center today, and I wanted to see if they had any sweet potato slits because my sweet potatoes giving them out, but for some reason it slowed down. Now it's perking back up, but it's gonna be late. And so I said, let me see if they got some sweet potato slits. They had one sweet potato in a box, and it had $7.99 on the back. I said, for one sweet potato side of box. I said, are you serious? She said, well, we had the other kind. I said, oh, I know about the other kind. That's ornamental. I put them in my window boxes, so I know about. I said, I don't want them. I want slits. And she gave me that box. And I said, oh no, honey. I gave the box right back to her. I said, I'm good. So I was like, I got a few other friends in garden that's got sweet potato started. I'm finna go make some phone calls. Say I need some slits.
Yeah.
But I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe how gardening has exploded to the point
Yeah.
where else they milking us like cows now,
Yes.
about prices and stuff. And then I saw they had veggies there, and they had a rack of what was it, bell peppers and something else, and they was like $4.99 a piece. I was like, a piece? I was like, I just left Mark's and they got three for $5. And you talking about $4.99 for one? I was like, really? And the lady said, where? I said, at Mark's up there in South Euclid. She said, ooh, thank you. And she left right on up. Everybody, don't throw a American Express card up on the counter and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of us count our little pennies. So I was like, okay. But they said we were supposed to warm up this week into the 60s. Because Jigs, for the last 3 nights, it's been between 43 and 42 degrees every night. It's cold. My heat's still cut off. I told him I won't turn my heat off until the 1st of June. And it's, I looked at my sweet potato vines and stuff. I mean, not so. My watermelon vines and stuff I got outside, and they wilted a little bit. I was like, oh, I'm like, Jen, you have to thug it out, because once you warm up, I'm putting you in the ground. I'm not going to bring you in and keep bringing you in and taking you out. I was like, you're going to have to acclimate yourself. And they have. And they still going. I just checked to see if they were dry, because the wind's been high, and a wind will dry out your plants just as fast as a warm day. So they still hanging.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yes, Sylvia, you can't run out of gas in these new cars either.
No. Mm-mm.
I try to keep my truck full or half full. If it's half full, I go back up, because ain't no telling what happened these days.
Yeah.
Like I said, my AC went out. I got an AC in 2015. My warranty was up May 1st. The AC went out May 19th.
Wow.
And the guy, he I'm talking to him about the AC, and he knew exactly. Oh no, your warranty went out on the 1st. There's nothing we can do. Best you might want to get a new unit, and right now we're not using the same Freon anymore. We're using this new stuff now, and I said, boy.
They know your warranty better than you do. They know how to find that read that fine print on them things.
That's it. And now he's supposed to inspect the thing out there and show me what's what. He looked at everything. I was like, oh man, you out of Freon. You out of Freon. And I'm just sitting there thinking, every time they work on my stuff, I'm always around. But this time, last time that they came, it was 2 people. One worked outside, one worked upstairs. So I find out, now, this should be no way amount of Freon.
Yeah.
When they had out here, I believe he messed things up.
Yeah.
Because we haven't used it, even though it got cold back in February. We turned the heat on, but we haven't used the AC yet, and we just turned that on the 19th of this month, and we ain't got nothing. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking back. I had it on camera and everything, and I wanted to go back and look at it. I cleaned the tape off.
Wow.
I cleaned the tape off. I get like 700 photos and videos on there.
Mm-hmm.
I just went and I said, man, it's been long enough. It's been over 6 months. So I erased everything, find out. And I'm just thinking, he didn't do what he was supposed to do outside.
Yeah.
Now I'm paying for it.
Fatima said, She's in Northern California. She said 2 small avocados is $5. She said they better kiss
Ooh,
my apricots. Yeah, that's what.
P. Wilson, how you doing? Welcome in.
P. Wilson. Hello, hello, hello.
I know
Yeah,
how you feel. I know how you feel, Fantima. I'm glad I got a garden.
yeah.
Right now, my freezers in the laundry room, they're full. So that's one reason I didn't have to worry about a garden this year. But I'm getting my fruit game online.
I didn't
My
get as
tree,
many blossoms on my fruit tree. Oh, excuse me. I got to prop my leg up. This year as I did last year. My apple tree was so full of blossoms. My honey crisp, it was like a sea of white petals. This year, I'm only seeing a handful of blossom. I mean, apples is actually developing from the few flowers that I see. And the same thing with my peach tree and my pink lady.
uh, since you mentioned your leg, I'm not going to talk about Miss Shirley, but I'm going to talk about Miss Shirley. Miss
Oh.
Shirley had 3 crutches. Miss Shirley was loaded. Miss Shirley had over 20 something persimmons on. She had over 20 on there. Man, I come back last week and I was looking at Miss Shirley. I was talking about the persimmon trees and I
Yeah.
was talking about Miss Shirley this, Miss Shirley that. I look up, Miss Shirley ain't got nothing.
Oh, for real? All the none of the blossoms
Miss
changed?
Shirley ain't got nothing.
Get out of here. What happened?
And everything fell off. Oh,
Was it cold or high winds? What?
no, they just fell off.
You didn't
But
water me or what? Come on, G. You got to
no,
give
no,
me a better excuse than
you
that.
don't. I don't water you every day. You're not supposed to get water every day. But
Okay.
no, the only one that's out there is Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel got one. She got one about the size of a quart out there.
Homesteader.
Homestead Rachel. She the only
Oh,
one got persimmon out there. So
right.
this year, right now, as it look, I got them 2 small gyros. They got some persimmon on them, but I don't expect them to do anything. But Miss Rachel, the only one got about the size of a quart of persimmon on there,
Wow.
and I'm talking to her and encouraging to keep going. Lynette Lawrence, welcome in.
But you know what though? That's funny you should say that because I didn't see Bro do a video about the diseases on his fruit trees. I done seen the bull do it, and I think Jamaica might have had a tree or two with certain stuff on there. So it's not just in one state, you know. It's
Right,
everybody's getting hit by all these bugs, you know. And some people said they did have a chance to spray their trees, but if you don't constantly keep spraying them, these bugs are relentless. They know how to get around whatever you do to the trees in order to feed on them. You know, when Brooke showed his fruit trees, every last one of them was affected. It wasn't anything that he could get out of. He said even the birds didn't want to be bothered with him. You know, so they had stuff oozing out of them. They had other things just clamping on to them. You know, and so it's good to know about these different diseases because it might be happening to your tree and you have no idea what's
right,
going on, you know. But by other people bringing it, like Broke say, a lot of people show the good, but they don't show the bad and the ugly.
right. That's a fact.
So therefore, they think that everything's supposed to look like this every time it grows. No, because last year, my apple tree, my honeycrisp got hit with them bugs. I used to have perfect looking apples years before. Not a problem. They was big and juicy. Last year, even the deer didn't like them. They take a bite out of them and spit them. They was on the ground. You know, they was like, oh, something ain't right about these apples. So I'm like, a whole tree full of apples that I couldn't do nothing with. So yeah,
Yeah.
my feelings was hurt too.
Well, my Dorset, yeah, my Dorset out there. I've got over 20 apples on both them trees, and they
Hmm.
looking pretty. Uh, it was 3 till limb. Now it's like 2 till limb. and they're just getting bigger. They look like some little tennis balls out there.
Yeah, yeah, and the couple of jigs, blueberry bushes. Two of them, they got the berries on them. They ripen. They real small. I said, well, I'm gonna take these off so they can really get a good root foundation, and then next year I could see them showing up and showing out. But one passed. I had three. You went to the upper room, but the other two are doing just fine. They got leaves on them and they got fruit on them and everything. So I was like, 2 out of 3, I ain't mad. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't even want to talk about blueberries. All them fellas they looking good out there.
Okay.
They're still green. They're not going to be ready until the middle of next month. That's when I harvest them from the 15th throughout June.
Do you cover yours?
I don't cover nothing.
Okay.
Everything around here fends for itself,
Yeah.
and that's why I tell you before when I said I let the animals eat their portion and then I get mine too.
Well,
That's
I'm
why
the same way.
when I
My
did
my
the,
Go ahead.
when I do the big garden and everything, I know that
Uh-huh.
the deers are going to eat everything on the outside, so I
Yeah.
get everything that's in the center.
Okay. Well, like right now, I had a sea of blossoms for my strawberries. All the blossoms are gone now. And now I'm seeing the fruit develop. So I know that this half of the garden gonna be for the slugs. The ones in the middle gonna be for the birds, and the ones on this side is Miss Shirley's. Okay, and
Yeah.
I actually want to get my granddaughter to bring my great grandbaby over here and pick her own strawberry out of
All
the
right.
yard. I want to do a video on it because I took her strawberries last year when she was still little, and I washed them and put them on her tray in the morning, and she was just taking them and with them little fat hands, and she was just, she likes to hum when she eats, and she was like, and I look at it, and I say, "Ah, those good," and she look at me and smile, and she'd be trying to, I say, you can't stuff all of them in your mouth at the same time, looking like a chipmunk, but she tore them strawberries up. So I would like to see her actually bend down and pick her own strawberry and eat it out of the garden because I don't spray and don't use any of those pesticides or herbicides or any kind of sides in the garden because I be standing out there talking to you, be picking berries off of my bush. My neighbor who used to live next door, there's a blueberry bush between the fence there, and I was like, Charles, you want some berries? And I would grab a handful off them and give it to him. And we'd be standing there talking and popping blueberries in our mouths. He's like, this is the coolest thing ever. He said, I didn't even know you could do this. And he said, and they sweet too. I was like, homegrown is always better than the supermarket stuff.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Hot
is.
house, greenhouse. That ain't fruit. That's whatever they put in the store. That's what y'all eat. It's the real deal. And so I was like, give me a couple of weeks and strawberries be ready. He said, oh, I'll be back.
He coming back for a snack.
Yeah. So he's like, it was blowing his mind. I mean, that's all he kept doing is walking down the driveway saying, I'm eating blueberries out the yard. He's like, man, he was like, this lady, she got real fruit growing in her yard. And it blows people's mind
Yeah, someone said,
that
"Welcome
you
in."
could do that you could grow fruit in your own yard and eat it. They act like it's mission impossible. Where do you think your food come from? That's what blows my mind. Other than the supermarket, it had to be produced somewhere in order to come to the supermarket. So where do
Right
you think your food come from? It just blows my mind how people don't think outside the box.
now, I took it when my father was alive. The first year he came here, we gave him a birthday party, and we invited his brothers and sister-in-laws and everybody.
Hey,
All
drops.
the brothers stayed outside by my uh, orange tree. My tree was loaded.
Yeah.
I think it was 6 or 8 people. They stayed out there and ate every orange. What is mandarin? They ate every mandarin orange off that tree before they even came in the house to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't never had no orange like this. If you go to the store and buy it,
Yeah.
I'm sending them to the store, but leave my stuff alone. They
Last year,
think,
I was invited to a barbecue, and I don't like to go anywhere empty-handed. So I went over to my garden, and I had some nice sized yellow tomatoes. So brought it. I picked them, brought them back to the house, sliced them up, put them in a bowl, and took them, put them on the table. So with the rest of the food, when I came back in, I thought I was gonna give me a piece. All them tomatoes was gone, and then everybody started saying, "Who brought the tomatoes?" And everybody turned and looked at me, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I did." They said those were absolutely delicious because a lot of them said they didn't like red tomatoes so much because of the acid level. Yellow
Right.
tomatoes don't have that real strong acidic taste to it, and they're kind of sweet. They're really good. And I was like, wow. And also the yellow lemon cucumbers. Oh, I didn't fell in love with them. I'm growing me a bunch of them this summer. Oh, they were so sweet. I took those over to my granddaughter's house and sliced them up. And even her husband, my grandson, he's like, these are all right. They were standing there tearing them up. I was like, yeah, I was like, this is real food. And here go my granddaughter. She'd be bragging. She'd be like, my grandma, she'd be growing stuff all the time.
And see, that's the thing they got to realize. You tasting good food, but it'd be
Yeah.
even better if you plant it yourself.
Yeah.
Right now, all the people got too much chemicals in their system because they always want to eat out. And I'll say since the Big C happened,
Like the lemon cucumbers. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Drops.
since the Big C, I can honestly say me and the wife probably ate out twice since to this present time. Since the Big C, we probably ate out twice. Other
Yeah.
than that, we don't go out to no restaurant.
Hmm. Now, see, when a couple of years ago, when you came to my house, I had little small dinner parties, about 5 or 6 of us get together. And they looked around on the table. They said, "You always have a salad. I don't see a salad." So I gave them a little basket and a pair of scissors.
Go get your salad.
Because everybody don't like the same thing. Some of them came back with cherry tomatoes and a cucumber. Some of them came back with just lettuce and maybe a pepper, bell pepper, or something. Everybody had different. And they came back and I made homemade dressing. And my girlfriend gave me a heck of a recipe. And it doesn't mess with your stomach because it don't have all those additives and preservatives in it. And I told her, y'all gonna try this dress. Tell me, I only eat ranch. Just like, you ain't tried. Just quit saying what you don't like if you ain't tried it. And I shook it up real good because it had crushed minced garlic. It had apple cider vinegar. It had raw honey. It had herbs to taste. I would throw in some parsley and what have you, salt and pepper. And it had one more ingredient in it. Oh, some mustard. And I would use either honey lemon or that brown stadium mustard with a little bite to it. Shake it
Mhm.
up real good and poured it over there. Oh, them ninjas tore them salads up. And wanted the recipe, afterwards. They was like, you can't get no better than this. Nobody had an upset stomach. Everybody slept good when they went home. And we was good to go. And I keep telling folks, I was like, I have them ask me right now when them cucumbers gonna be ready or when them tomatoes, because I got my friend Lavelle. I grew some chocolate cherry. Wait a minute, what's it? Chocolate cherry tomatoes. Yeah. Oh, he asked me all the time. He said, "Are you growing them this year?" And I'd be like, "Oh my goodness." I was like, I'm getting special requests for certain stuff.
Yeah, I told the wife before this. I'm not gonna say I got a problem. It's just that I get nervous when I see people that I don't know
Yeah.
park in front of my house. So I went to try to buy the property in front of me so that it could be turned into a little garden, just so people wouldn't park over there. Guy wouldn't,
Shantarvin,
guy
nice to
wouldn't sell
see
it to
you.
me. How you doing, Shantarman?
Yeah, nice to see you. Been missing you. Yeah, but it's just amazing that when you grow certain stuff in your garden and people try it, they was like, that was amazing. I was like, you can grow the same thing. I said, I don't care if you got nothing but a dollar bucket from Dollar Tree, put some holes in the bottom, throw some soil in it. and drop your seed in it and go for it. I was like, really? I was like, it's not that hard. I was like, people make it. Yeah, people.
Just use the cup after you get finished drinking in it.
Yep. And you know what? I take my water jugs, I take the band off, and I have a soldering iron, and I put one little small hole in the bottom of this, and I bury this next to any seedlings I put in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put the mulch on top after I water it in. And when I want to, I can add water inside of this, and it will go to the root of the plant. Even
Mm-hmm.
though it could be hot and dry above, underneath that soil is so moist and full, and I can pour super juice in it or any type of liquid fertilizer in it, and it will slowly leak out and keep my plants watered. And people used to wonder why I don't see any water system, because there's no watering system over in the lot. And they was like, your IBC is not full. The handle was broke on it, but everything was green and lush. I was like, you got to learn to think outside the box. You don't have to stand over there with a hose over everything all day to get it. All the plant want is the nourishment and water at the root of it. And that's what I do. I have a watering can, and I go and I
Mm-hmm.
fill it all the way up to the top. And I just go from each one. And my I got some pictures of tomatoes that was so full. I had a hard time trying to brace them up because they was just so low. So
I
yeah.
understand. That's
Netta, my nesty. What's up, baby?
that's the thing too. Is you want to garden, you got to make it so you can garden. Don't try to do what the other person do. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna do what Miss Shirley do. Once I get a good understanding on what she do, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah,
And that's what I try to tell people all the time. I want to teach you the easiest way of doing something that you can improve as you go on.
yeah. And you know what though? Gardening to me is like a new job. When you go in there, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone show you how to do it, you do it their way for a minute, like you said, until you feel that you could tweak it and do it better. And then
That's
when
it.
you do it and it works and it's voila, it's on like Donkey Kong. I mean, people they fail to realize how easy it is to make comparisons with everyday life with gardening. It's not that hard. It's only hard if you make it hard. I'm not gonna say it's the easiest thing to do. Gardening is work.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Don't get it twisted. All right. It's work, and you have to know what you're doing and kind of remember what's going on. But once you get into a rhythm and of it, it's you hey, can't nobody tell you what to do. Like they say, when you in your garden, that's your yard. That's your garden. Can't nobody tell you how to grow. If you so worried about what I'm doing, start your own garden. Get out of mine.
That's it. That is it. And that's what we want to encourage you anyway. Start your own garden. If you the same way they did in school, where the kids had the little cup and they planted the seed,
Yeah.
beans and tomato and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I like you in school again. Start take a tomato, put it in this cup, set it somewhere and let it grow.
Yeah.
You will enjoy that tomato. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm showing you these cups. I got 6 sour sops right here.
Okay. I got a okra plant right now that's real leggy because it's getting so tall because it's reaching for the light. But I want to put it outside, but I can't because it's too cold. I know as soon as I put it outside, it's gonna kill it overnight. Because like I said, it's been like 42 degrees
Oh
every
man.
night. And I was like, I'm gonna put it in a pot in here somewhere, and I might just leave it in the pot and throw it on the front porch and grow because I think it's a bush variety. I don't think it's a vine, a climbing one. So I think I might be able to grow it in the pot. But it's still too cold to put anything in the ground. I'm looking at my poor watermelon seedlings, and I'm like, Mama, sorry, but I have no control over the weather. Ain't nothing I can
Uh,
do.
You better talk to them and encourage them anyway. It's just a little cold. It ain't freeze. It's just a little cold. You can deal with it.
You know what I'm saying to them? Die if you want to. I just plant some more. You can die if you want to. I ain't gonna stress myself. I'm gonna just drop some. I'm like Miss Linda. Drop some more seeds. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Hey.
No, don't get it twisted. Now I got a bucket full of seeds over here.
So I got several okra plants growing. I put cucumber, green beans, peas next to them to grow up the stem. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like the three system, like the Indians used to do with the squash, the peas, and the corn. Yeah,
and that's one of the things right there. No matter what, okra was my thing. I could be outside working. I pass up tomatoes. I pass up everything. I go get me some okra, put 2 or 3 in my shirt pocket, go get back on the tractor, go do something, eat that okra, and I'm good.
My okra never make it back to the house.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like Mickey. I snatch them young and tender, and they got that nice little crunch to them. I be carrying my okra up. It very seldom makes it back to the house.
So, sister, welcome in. How you doing?
Hey, so sister, how are you?
I felt that 2 cold plant statements in it as well. Okay.
Yeah. But yes, and the weather is crazy everywhere. Some places they already done harvested they spring stuff, and they going through summer stuff now. I was like, I just like to get anything planted at this point. I've been looking at my green stock and stuff, been hanging tough in the green stock, but planting it in the ground, that's a whole different story. So yeah.
I got a whole bunch of cayenne pepper out there. I'm waiting for them to turn red. That's all I'm waiting for them to start turning red. That's the only, I said the only 2 things I want that was going, I'm gonna plant out there was cayenne pepper and beets. I slipped up on
my cayenne.
I slipped up on the beets, but I got 18 plants of cayenne out there.
Yeah, I don't have that many, but I felt good that the seeds that I collected from my bell peppers from last year, I dropped them and they reseeded and they're coming up, and I'm just like, yes, this is what they talking about. This didn't come out the pack. This came out the garden from last year. It's still, healthy and viable, and they just come in like gangbusters, like boom, like I'm gonna come back, I'm just like, I can't wait to get them in the ground. Just hope they make it.
Yeah. I did a video. I didn't put it out yet, but I did a video of the fruit forest, and there's a lot of the stuff is gone, but the figs, the plums and stuff, they're coming back. The only problem is I was using a new mic, and the mic ain't recording nothing.
Oh wow!
So I'm gonna have to try to voice over or whatever with that fella.
Well, the 2 figs that I rooted and put it in the soil, they're outside, and the leaves got scorched on that one day that was 84 degrees, and now they're dry because of the high wind. So I definitely got to water them tomorrow, but they surviving. So I got 2 more fig plants, and I want to do the same thing. I'm going to cut back on the black mission, and I think I got an Italian honey. I'm like, Odom, I want figs up the yin yang. All right, but I want to get that Chicago Hardy in the ground. I know the rest of them is not going to take Ohio winter, but I want to try the Chicago Hardy. Since I got 2 more babies off of it, I'm going to put that one in the ground and nurture these other 2 and see how that works out.
That Chicago Hardy should be able to take that weather up there.
Yeah. It should be. Well, I figure if you can do it in Chicago, Cleveland should be a cakewalk.
Hey.
Okra is a companion plant to peppers too. One bed I planted ghost peppers with them. Okay.
Yeah.
I planted some leisure peppers. I was like, ooh, I'm getting fancy over here.
Hey, we got to do what we got to do if we want to eat.
Oh yeah, and drops. I got a bunch of Cherokee purple tomatoes. The first set I put out, I didn't keep up with watering, and they didn't make it. But I started another set, and they're hardy. They're ready to go in the ground too. As soon as the ground warms up. Yep. Ned is nasty. After watching you do your video about your green stock, I saw you harvesting your beans. I don't know if you saw mine, but I started dropping beans in my green stocks. I'm ready to see it too. And Nikki, I had some more popsicle sticks. I made some new labels and put them in where the beans is. So I wouldn't plant some on top of something else.
Yeah, I was watching Nikki today too with them big old glasses she had on. But I want to thank everybody for coming in
Oh
today.
wow, I
The
got that late.
OGs, yeah, with the OGs and everybody out there. If you know a young man, young woman, hey, encourage them to get a trade, or even if they want to be doctor, lawyers, or whatever, get a side hustle.
Yeah.
Get a side hustle. Learn something that you be able to help the family. Because calling all these other folks out here now, they ain't gonna help you. And if they helping you, whew, y'all don't want to know how much this new AC gonna cost me. But
Yeah.
woo,
I can hear them dollar signs going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
you hear them sweat drops falling. Barb Brownlee, how you doing? Welcome in.
Hi, Barb.
Yeah, we getting ready to go though. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Y'all be blessed. And one thing I'm gonna tell you, oh Lord, I'm about to mess up his saying.
Uh-huh.
I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Got it.
But love
Just
me
leave
back.
it.
Y'all be blessed now.